Didier Drogba has finally called time on his career and will hang up his boots at the end of the United Soccer League season at the ripe old age of 40. Still banging in the goals for Phoenix Rising and displaying the same fire as always, the Ivorian has had a very good innings. Very few strikers continue playing beyond 35, let alone 40. Drogba's is a story of plucky perseverance, a gradual climb to the top rather than a preordained tale of fulfilled talent. Far less naturally gifted than, say, Samuel Eto'o, his rival for greatest African player of his generation. What the Ivorian at times lacked in finesse, he compensated with a tireless work ethic, which was helped by his super lean genes. Like most African players, Drogba had to start from the bottom of the football ladder and work his way gradually to the top. He also had the added complication of moving between Africa and France as a child, which disrupted his progress and meant he never had the benefit of joining a football academy. Having left his native Ivory Coast for the Paris suburbs aged 15, Drogba had had a lot of catching up to do on his peers, which meant that he only turned professional aged 21. In fact, he felt his chances of making the grade was so slim that he enrolled in university to study accountancy, but his dedication soon paid off when Le Mans promoted him to first-team player. His scoring exploits saw him make the gradual climb from Le Mans to Guingamp to Marseille. This was the chance he'd been waiting for, and he took to Champions League life like a duck to water, scoring 5 goals in his one and only season at the French Giants. Because those goals on the biggest stage put him on the radar of Europe's biggest clubs, it was Chelsea who took the gamble on the raw striker, paying £24 million for his signature in the summer of 2004. Thus would begin a decade-long love affair with the West London club and the man who signed him, Jose Mourinho. It's easy to forget now, but Drogba's first season was a testing one for several reasons. For one, the jump in standard. Marseille to Chelsea is a move from Europe's second rung to the absolute elite, and he initially struggled with the physicality. And secondly, because of the tactical adaptation demanded of him by Mourinho. Up until this stage of his career, Drogba was a striker who liked to stretch defences and play on the offside limit. Whereas at Chelsea, he was now tasked with playing more with his back to goal, winning aerial battles and bringing the wingers alongside him into play. And his rapid adaptation was reflected in the stats. He finished the 2005-2006 season as Premier League assist leader, a nice accolade to add to his 2 Premier League titles. Drogba would go on to establish himself as an iconic Premier League forward, over the next 8 seasons scoring 157 goals in all competitions for Chelsea, winning 3 league titles, while his 36 goals in European competitions also registered himself as the club's all-time leading scorer on the European front. And it was undoubtedly in Europe where he left the most indelible mark, scoring the winning penalty in the 2012 Champions League final to lead the Blues to their first ever triumph in Europe's elite competition. Although Mourinho was no longer there to share the European success, he would soon be back, and so would Drogba during Mourinho's second spell in charge. Drogba having seemingly called a day on his top-level career by downgrading to Galatasaray and then Shanghai Shenhua. However, he didn't just come to play the role of cheerleader. Despite by then being 36 years old and seeing his playing time significantly reduced, the Ivorian managed to score 4 goals en route to the Blues' first league title in 4 years, before finally sailing off into the sunset, destination MLS. The Ivorian's MLS adventure began at Montreal Impact, where he spent 2 decent seasons before making the downgrade to Phoenix Rising, a franchise that was only formed in 2014 and who play in the United Soccer League, the division below MLS. Although it was a downgrade which saw him play in front of sparse crowds, his move to Phoenix had the added interest of allowing him to become part owner of the organisation and to play a direct role in its mission to reach MLS. This reflects Drogba's philanthropic side. Throughout his career, he has been a tremendous ambassador for his country, providing the funds to build children's hospitals and even playing a key role in the cessation of the country's civil war, when he called on the warring sides to reach peace following the Elephants' historic qualification for the 2006 World Cup.